Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Okay, so I believe before I start, I'm going to do a shout out to our sponsors here, Telecom and Decent. And I would like to welcome you all to Magio Plus and our A Lot Startup Grind, which we're hosting here. Welcome. Today I am interviewing the fantastic Tanya.
Ciao, ciao.
And with that, I think we will get started. And yeah, we have Slido in the background here. You should be able to see the hashtag there. For those of you who... we have some Slido representatives here even. Do feel free to ask us questions. I'm going to put aside roughly about 15 minutes towards the end where you can throw it out and ask any questions to us, and we'll do our best to answer all of them. And all right, let's have a seat and get started.
Thank you.
Very motivational music behind me. All right, so I think we'll start it off. Why don't you tell us where you came from? The very beginning.
The very beginning. Well, I came from central Slovakia, the small village called Hocianske Nemce, where my parents still live, and I usually go and visit them. I went there for a grammar school and basic school, and then I went for a gymnasium to Banská Bystrica for 4 years. Well, actually, that was just 2.5 years because then I started to dance ballroom dances and I wanted to win. And there was a club in Banská Bystrica which didn't have that good trainers. So I somehow made myself to come to Bratislava for the rest 1.5 years to study here and to dance here.
Well, ballroom dance. How did you get into ballroom dancing?
Well, I was a small girl, like every girl is, and the times when I was a small girl, usually girls wanted to be dancers, singers, actresses, or let's say stewardess. That was the dream for the girls my age when I was young. I know it's changed a lot now. Now every girl wants to be entrepreneur or being in the business or scientist or something. But when I was young, that was a little bit different.
Wow! And so jumping back here. Your parents, what do they do?
My mom is a teacher at the basic school. She teaches Slovak language and history, and father is vet, so he's taking care about the dogs and cats and the animals.
Wow, and was your mother your teacher when you went to primary school?
Unfortunately, she was for a little bit and for a little while, but thanks God just for a little while. Because it was very tough. I was a child of a teacher, so it immediately puts you in a position where you have a little bit of you are treated a different way, like everyone see you like you have different privileges, and it's not true. Usually, when you have to stand up in front of the blackboard and to answer to some questions of a teacher, you need to know much more than the others to gain the best mark.
So you learned how to tackle being embarrassed from a very young age, I take it.
Well, I guess I had to. I mean, my mom, she would say a lot of stories about me when I was a really young child. When I was, I was the first grade, so about the 6 years. I was so bored at home, and I knew where my parents had hidden the money. So I came there, I took the money, I bought the ticket for the bus. I sat on the bus, and I went to visit my aunt, which was the next village, but I was so bored at home, and there was no mobile phones that time. They just found out 7 p.m. she's not home where she is. So they were quite scared, but then actually they found out that, okay, I'm probably by my auntie. So I was really stubborn and really bad child.
Yeah, quite the rebel from the early age. So jumping forward again, what was the transition from ballroom dancing to entrepreneurship?
So after the Velvet Revolution came, it was quite difficult with the money in my family. So I was really trying to do these ballroom dances because I loved it. That took me like for 3 years. I was doing almost nothing. I was not really going to school. I was dancing all the day. I had an individual studium plan, so I was really dancing all the day. I was not going to school. And after I finished this gymnasium here in Bratislava, I had to make my decision because the ballroom dancing became so expensive that my parents couldn't support anymore. Especially because we were like a quite good couple, so we were going internationally for the competitions, but it was not possible to support it anymore. It was really, really extremely expensive, and so I had to make a decision what I'm gonna do. And the decision was, okay, I'm gonna start to work because I wanted to make the money. I didn't want to be dependent on anyone. So first of all, I started to work. I had some 2 jobs, and then my third job was travel agency. Okay. And in this travel agency, there was a boss who took all the employees, like the numbers, and he was quite bossy. And when he made a mistake, he couldn't really say, "Okay, I made a mistake. I'm sorry." He was trying to push this mistake to you and make you to feel sorry for that mistake he made. And it made me really angry all the time. So one day I just decided, okay, I'm gonna leave, and if he can do it this way, I'm gonna do it better.
That's good learning. What were the other 2 jobs you had before the travel agency?
So my first job really after the grammar school was an assistant for the company which is now Sony in Trnava. Before it was called Sony Avex. Okay. And they were doing these things which are going into the TVs, this green thing, how's it called in English? I don't know. The green thing, you have the small pieces on it, you have to put it there and then you put it in, okay, whatever. So they were doing something technical. And I was doing an assistant of the director, and that was really, really funny because when I came there, they had these people from Germany, from Sony, controlling the quality. And they needed someone who speaks German and English, and I did speak both languages that time. Because the director didn't speak very well English and he didn't speak very well German, so he needs someone who could translate from these German people to him, and that was supposed to be me. And actually when I came into that company as an assistant, he found out that I can work with his computer. It was really very old Pentium, but he couldn't even turn it on, not to use it. So he put me to sit in his chair in front of his table to play with that computer, and I was doing the reports for Japan and Germany, and I don't know who else with these German managers from Sony. But it took me like 3 months, and then I just really got bored. So after 3 months, I said, okay, I'm going, and I started to work for the au pair agency, and there I was working for 1.5 years. And then the boss who was there, he was actually learning on me how to manage the people. I was really first employee, and it was quite rough some days because he was screaming on me for something. It was not my mistake. And then again, it took me like 1.5 years, and then I said I cannot work with him anymore, and I just left. And then there was this coincidence that I knew someone who started the travel agency for the young people. It's called CKM 2000 Travel, and I started to work there. And I really fell in love with the job. Just this boss was really bossy.
Wow, yeah, I'm sure there's more people here who have had problems with uncomfortable bosses in their future at one time or another. How would you say that impacted you for when you yourself became a boss later on? Did you take a lot of learnings from this?
I hope so. There is a couple of people from Pelican here, I see, so they can maybe say really.
Yeah, just do that on Slido afterwards. We'll cover it nicely. It's good.
So I hope I did take some learning from that.
That's cool. So after you've done the traveling agency, then you started transitioning into a more entrepreneurial mindset?
I guess yes, but I think I was always this kind of person who was stubborn, and if I just decided I want this, I went for it, and I didn't look left or right. I mean, this was the goal, and I said I want it. I was not really looking, okay, if it doesn't work, then maybe I'll do this, and maybe I'll do that. That was never in my mind. In my mind, there was always a setup. I want this, I'm gonna get it. However, I'm just gonna get it. So I think that was also for my beginning, when I started this business. That was something I really fell in love with. This air tickets and traveling and everything. That was everything connected together. Geography, IT, computers. I don't know, travel business. So that's what I really fell in love, and I started to do it. I never had some doubts that I cannot make it. Nice.
So we often say that the greatest entrepreneurial endeavors are born out of problems. And so my question is, when you decided to start Pelican, was there a problem you saw that you wanted to solve?
Well, there was a lot of problems I want to solve, but there was one main problem, because when I had my travel agency, I had, let's say, 2 or 3 employees. It was a very small one, but still doing very well. And then the September 11 came. Then after that, the low costs came into the market. Before there were no low costs, and the airlines, they were paying to travel agents usually quite nice commission from selling air tickets. And also the prices were much higher. So let's say that time, the businessman, when he wants to fly to London, he would have to pay for the flight going to London on Monday and going back on Tuesday evening, let's say at least 1,500 euros. That was the price, and we've got a commission, yes, from that, like, I don't know, 12%. Right now, you pay for the tickets sometimes 3 euros, and that's it. Never mind whether you're a businessman or you're a student, yes? So actually, my cost after all this, what happened, cost went up, and the margin and everything was going really, really down. So I was standing in front of the decision what I'm gonna do. Like, am I going to close the business, or am I going to find out some solution? And of course, the biggest problem was that if one employee was bringing me, let's say, I don't know, 100,000 euros turnover per month, now I needed 5 employees to bring that turnover. So it was really, really bad situation. And then I was thinking, okay, I need to find a way how to serve many clients and do not need that many people, because the people means a lot of costs. And of course, internet was the solution. I was that time really very much sitting in front of internet and looking what's happening in abroad, what's happening in Western countries, what's happening in the United States. And I saw all these OTAs, online travel agencies, growing and booming. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. So I mean actually internet was the solution to all my problems, because otherwise I would have to close the business.
Wow. So let's talk about the birth of Pelican then. So you started Pelican in 2004.
Yeah.
You were not alone.
No, I was not alone. And after I was seeing that I have this problem in the travel agency, I was really thinking what I'm gonna do. And okay, the internet, that was the idea, yes. Which and the engine for online, that was the idea how to solve my problem. But still, okay, I had some money, last money still were there. But then I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna put this money into buying some engine, because it was very, very costly that time. And what I'm gonna do then? And then I understood that, okay, if I want to be on the internet, I really need to know how the marketing on the internet works. And I didn't know anything about that. All my clients were word of mouth. So they were happy with the services we provided, so they came in. But on the internet, it doesn't work like that. You really need to make a lot of attention to the people. So, and I was talking about this to my one very good friend, and he said, okay, so let's do it together. I have one more guy, and that's how we met. So we are actually 3 guys, but 2 of them, we are still really like every day working in the Pelican, and one is not working every day anymore with us.
Okay, so let's talk a bit about, because most startups face the stage in the beginning where you have to decide who are you going to start the company with. And the process of starting a company with somebody, it's very intimate. You are, by definition, entering into a very solid relationship where everything relies on this relationship working out. And you see a lot of startups and entrepreneurs, things go south because the founders can't work together, or they find out after a while that things aren't working out between them. Let's hear a bit about your story there. Because from my understanding, it wasn't always the smoothest of rides.
Well, of course it wasn't. Well, it was everything great when we were so enthusiastic when we started and we saw the first booking coming. Yes, that was great. But then we had to hire more people, and we have to decide who is going to be the boss, because you cannot really have 2 bosses. I mean, it's like that's maybe a stupid thing, but I mean, you have a dog, and if you have 2 guys who are screaming on the dog, one sit and the other one lie, so the dog doesn't know what to do. So I don't want to think that you I don't want that you think that I think that my employees are the dogs who needs one boss, but still it's like you need to have one boss who is setting up the priorities, and then it's always very difficult because you have 3 really enthusiastic people or more or whoever.